Gather around, Skol brothers and sisters. This is Skol World, brought to you by Minnesota Sports Talk. Brought to you by, and I got a big treat for you today. I got Matt Anderson. He is from Vikings Happy Hour, from Climbing the Pocket, and the best host in the business on YouTube. Introduce yourself, Matt. Tell them where they can find you and all the other things that you do.
The best host in the business. Wow, I appreciate that.
That's what I said. I said that earlier in my other show too.
Well, thank you very much. If you don't know, you can find me over on Twitter, Matt Anderson _8. Otherwise, a ton of content pushing out on Climbing the Pocket under Vikings Happy Hour as well, which is the show I host. But just recently, within the last 6 months, writing for the Vikings Wire over for USA Today.
Awesome.
So you can find a lot of my work there as well with Tyler Fornes. So it's been a crazy ride, but I appreciate you guys having me on this evening.
And since Jamie forgot to do our intro video, he is fired, and that's why.
Dude, I was gonna do the intro video, and email popped up right over the button and it kept popping up, so I didn't hit it. So we
skipped the intro video today, and that's why I was like,
whatever.
"What?"
It's all good. It's all good. So
and Matt, Casey is on Casey is on a Jimmy Johnson venture. We can't say anymore, but when you see him or you see him on Twitter, congratulate him on Jimmy John's. Jamie, go ahead, man.
At some point, I was just gonna say, hey, Matt. So no, thank you for being in here, man. We appreciate that big time. So, like I said right before hopping in here, just like anybody who's first time on this show, I'm interested in knowing what your whole Viking fandom thing, and also like where you at. Are you in Minnesota right now?
I am. I'm right outside of Minneapolis, so I'm down here in good old Minnesota, and my Vikings fandom really started back when I was a kid. My grandfather had season tickets back in the Metrodome. So I'd get to go to a few games a year, and ever since then I kind of fell in love. And it's just like a typical kid that fell in love with the 98 Vikings and let down by the initial heartbreak of the missed field goal, and the rest kind of speaks for itself. But in high school I was in the high school newspaper for wearing Vikings stuff every day of the school year. So it stuck with me.
You were that Brett Favre kid, but the Vikings version?
I wasn't that. But close.
I remember that. I wonder what that kid's doing now. He's probably still wearing that jersey.
Just some shout outs here. John B, Daily Skol. Was John with you right before this?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
What's going on, John? Nice to see you in here. Bandito, hammer time. JMO, is that a ham jersey? Let's go. Yeah, we'll get into that pretty quick here.
It's the greatest day of his
Skol
life.
TY,
right
what's
now.
going on, man? CTP in the house. Let's go.
Oh.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess we'll just dive in right away with the stuff that has happened today. We signed Brandon Powell, as well as, what is the other guy's name again?
The linebacker.
Troy Reeder.
I got him right here. Yeah.
Those are two guys that I'm assuming to me are depth pieces. I don't think they're going to come in and take the spots. I know Reeder has had a solid history. I still don't think he's going to come in and just take Hicks' job. He's definitely not getting Asamoah's job. Asamoah has to get the start this year, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, it's Asamoah's job to lose. It's just about who are you going to line up next to him. And I actually think, I mean, maybe a spicy take, but I think the Reeder move is more of competition for Jordan Hicks versus depth at that position.
Okay.
I still don't believe they fully trust Jordan Hicks, but if they can keep him at a restructured contract, which they did, I think they want some camp competition, and I think Reeder could give him a run for his money. I think he's got some speed and versatility.
He did have really good athletic traits in the combine coming out of college. He's 29. He's a little bit younger, but I think from my take is like he complements Hicks. Like, what they were talking about, Brian Flores saying, hey, I want, what defense are you going to play? 3 or 4 or 4-3? Who are we playing? Well, and he wants the strengths of the players. And I think they complement each other. And we obviously were a little weak in this area. So adding a guy like that makes me feel a little bit better that Troy Dye is not going to see the field. So that's That was my hopes. I stay on special teams. You're good there. Let's. I like this guy. Athletic ability, and he showed some showed some blitz ability apparently.
Yeah.
5 sacks and tackles for loss and part-time starter. So I like the fact that I think he complements Hicks because of his athletic ability and potentially being able to do what Hicks can't do and when it's needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully covering the pass, right? Hopefully covering the pass. That's the big one with Hicks.
Long way around.
You're just thinking the Tony Pollard touchdown from last season. Oof. That's kind of what was in my head with that part. But yeah, so
that was just a bad defensive scheme. It was so
general,
bad.
Yeah, it was a scheme. Next year we're gonna come out swinging, and our defense is gonna be top 10 probably, hopefully.
Yeah.
So then Brandon Powell. So what's your
next year?
Where are we at with Brandon Powell? So, I mean, again, in my opinion, it seemed like a depth move. Obviously, today's moves weren't anything crazy except for one in particular that I'll get to after this one.
The greatest move of all time.
Yeah. Anyways, so what's your thoughts on Brandon Powell?
Yeah, I mean, I think, we kind of talked briefly about it pre-show, but it's definitely competition for Jalen Reagor. Powell's got some kick return and punt return ability. He's not going to take that kick return job away from Kene Nwangwu.
Yeah.
So it's really about, can he take the job away from Jalen Reagor at punt returner? Now he's got a lot of good traits for a wide receiver. He's a speedy dude. You get the ball in his hand. He could, we could scheme up some stuff for him, but I wouldn't expect him to be wide receiver 3 or even wide receiver 2 for that matter. And I still think they address it somewhere in the draft. But again, depth at the position, familiarity with Kevin O'Connell, obviously back with his time with the Rams. And yeah, it's all about breeding competition when you're getting into OTAs, when you're getting into training camp. And I think that's exactly what this move is. And they're also setting themselves up, by the way, with all of these moves to take best player available in the draft come April. They're filling their depth. They're filling their starting spots. And so they're being very tactical about their approach, and I enjoy it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think obviously going to the draft, it's nice to be able to be in that situation for best player available. I think obviously I still feel like we have an opening for that wide receiver 2 spot, and I wouldn't mind seeing something there. Not just that, even though there's best player available, there does seem to be a massive hole in the defensive interior, in my opinion. So if there is one spot that has to get filled, because I felt like that was a need prior to us losing Delvin Tomlinson, and obviously now he's gone and he was our best player there.
Yeah.
So we have something there that needs to be filled, which, if we can figure, I don't know how we can even figure something out right now, because all those guys went out and got paid right away, all the ones from free agency. So it might just have to come into the draft. Luckily, I do think there's a couple guys a little bit like in the 3rd round and stuff that I also like. But
we do any shout outs yet? Yesterday I made the mistake of letting the chat get too carried away.
Yeah. Let's do it real quick. Let's go back in here right now. Hey, JD, Skol me up, baby. What's going on, man? This is the one that was throwing me off for a second here. Can you believe that we wasted a roster spot on hand? Come on.
Oh, geez. That's terrible. And if you didn't know, Matt, that he went to high school with CJ Ham.
Fullback.
Oh, did you?
I graduated high school with CJ Ham. That's why this is going to be. So I'll just bring it up right now. CJ Ham had a 2-year extension today. Something I was waiting for. I was always like, I like anybody is just like, what's going on with CJ? I know there was reports saying that they thought he was going to stay around, but just with our whole backfield with Madison getting the extension and Delvin Cook's future still somewhat up in the air, I'd say, right?
Yeah.
So I was huge. Obviously, I was super excited to see CJ Ham's 2-year extension, because I think, starting fullback, hopefully they say they want to use run game more next year, but also captain of the special teams, a really good special teams player and an amazing leader, in my opinion. So that's why he's worth a spot, Skol for life. Love you anyway, man. Love you anyway. Dave, my guy, the Zoe podcast.
Yeah, keep going, man. And I have a comment.
Dave, my guy, 33 all day. Bandito, what's going on? KOC knows Reader from the Rams as well. Exactly. He went out and got even Powell's a Rams guy prior, right?
Yep.
So he does like to go out and get a couple Ram guys, I think, for sure.
They're no Munt. They're no Munt.
Yeah, no one's like Munt, dude. Skol, what's going on, Justin? High Times KG, hashtag Camp Body. Yeah, pretty much. That's what I think. Sup Bandito, Skol everyone. What's going on, Raymond? Yogi Howard already knows. So hashtag Skol. So I'll go into this real quick. On all our live shows, we do generally we do a Justin Jefferson rookie card. Today
CJ Ham.
For CJ Ham, I got two for each year of an extension, 2 CJ Ham rookie cards. All you got to do is hashtag Skol in the comments to enter. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Don't forget to like that video. I know JD's in here and he'll be on your ass to like this video. Sup, Zoe. What's good, Justin? All right, so we're in some chatter comments. Man, I know we drafted a wide receiver high. CJ equals Super Bowl. Let's go. See, now we're talking. Now we're talking.
My favorite comments coming up here.
There's so many comments. You're right, David. Think my Cowboys just scored again. Hashtag Skol. Think the Cowboys just scored. Chilling. All right, we need a wide receiver too. We'll get back to that. How's everyone?
Here's my comment.
I'll let you go in here for a second.
Here's my comment about CJ Ham. Let me get your viewpoint on this, Matt. With signing Oliver, with bringing back Bradbury, with extending CJ Ham, everybody thought he was potential cap. I even cut him a month ago, but just because I didn't think we'd run the ball. Now it's like we've committed. We haven't got rid of Cook. We re-signed Alexander Madison. It seems like we've committed to the run game. How did you feel about that?
Well, yeah, when you look back at last season, CJ Ham only played 182 offensive snaps for the whole season. When in Mike Zimmer's tenure, he averaged about almost 400. So you're cutting that in half. And so when the offseason approached, I was in the same boat as you, Dave. I'm like, okay, $3 million in our pocket right here. Let's cut CJ Ham. He's been great, but it's a new offense. But this move, they didn't cut him. They stuck with him. And now in the end, they're going to keep him at a lower cap hit anyway. So they're going to, it's a win-win. But to your point, yes, we had Darren Wolfson on our show a few weeks ago, and it's the worst kept secret in town. Kevin O'Connell wants to run the ball more next year. It is crystal clear, and you're seeing it with the off-season moves. You mentioned Josh Oliver, the second best run blocking tight end in the NFL last season. The stability on the offensive line. I mean, when's the last time in the last 10 years that we've had the same unit on the offensive line? Now, granted, a lot of things can change between now and the first week of the season, whether it's injuries, performance, whatever, but still, that's a big sign as well. And then keeping CJ Ham around and even giving him that 2-year extension, that tells me, that they're probably looking to run the ball a little bit more, be a little bit more balanced attack on offense, because I do feel like at times they lost that, and that kind of hurt them.
Now, Oliver, I think, is a sneaky, exciting pick for me. He's coming from an offense that didn't throw the ball.
Yeah.
And he was a pass catching tight end in college, and was 6'5", ran a 4.6, and honestly athletic. And you go look at his, and I bring this up, people are probably sick of hearing me say this. Go look at his highlight tape, and you see a freaking master class of catches. And I think it's probably because his quarterback wasn't very accurate, but he had some insane catches, completely laid out with one-handed catch that was like almost the equivalent, not that close to Justin Jefferson's one-handed catch, but sideways. And he's 6'5" and a tight end. But now we have two guys 6'5" that can run and catch, and both can block.
Yep.
I think we got I'm optimistic on what this offense is going to look like, the type of balance and explosiveness with all the players we still have. But we still, hey, we need another guy on the outside, a wide receiver, or someone to step up, and Jalen Naylor step up.
You hit the nail on the head, though, man. I mean, when you talk about Josh Oliver, when he came out of college, and I forget the where he came from. Yes, San Jose State. But
was it Fresno or San Jose?
I thought it was San Jose. Either way, he's on our team. Doesn't matter what college you went to. But But to your point, yeah, when he came out, it was more so that he was a pass catching tight end, and it's only during his time in the NFL where he really learned how to become that pass blocker, run blocker, physical tight end. So that was just an added bonus, and it's kind of made him, I mean, I do think people could be surprised at his production. I see 22 personnel in the comments here, and yeah, you might see a little bit more of that for sure this season.
We got Casey back here.
What's going on? Sorry, boy. Little late night furniture moving with one of my friends.
Yeah.
I owed him a favor, so here I am.
We were telling people that you're on a Jimmy John's adventure, and congratulate you on Jimmy John's. Yeah,
we were talking about all of
Casey, Matt Anderson,
Whoa.
Casey.
Yeah,
what's up, man?
Yeah, I screwed up the intro a little bit, Casey, but we're all good here. We're all good. We're rolling.
Takes practice.
Anyways, yeah, back to Oliver though. Yeah, that's the big thing is just his blocking, man. I mean, even besides, like, if he ends up being as good in the pass game as Dave hopes, obviously we got so much going on there, like how much opportunity is he really going to get in the pass game? But any sort of passing catching talent would be great
Matt.
for us.
San Jose State.
San Jose. So Oliver from San Jose.
I've been saying Fresno for like 2 days.
Yeah, for San Jose. But it doesn't matter. Just like Matt said, he's a Viking now. And it is just going to be nice to have as many blockers as you can, especially, I think last year there was just times where Kirk was just getting beat up, and it was just like, why doesn't KOC just throw anybody in their extra bodies to block for him? And we just didn't really see that a lot in those situations. Usually the games where we're just getting our ass whooped, like whether it was Eagles or the Cowboys or something like that, and Kirk was just getting constantly beat up. So I do think like they went out and like, all right, now if anything like that happens again, we can just throw Oliver in there, and you have Hawkinson now as well, and it just adds more to the blocking, and you're not just worried about it's not just our offensive line's job. And same with even bringing CJ in longer and having him as a continued blocker.
Yeah, and to just piggyback off that point, the one thing about a lot of our offensive weapons, when you talk about TJ Hawkinson and Oliver and even CJ Hampton, they're all versatile in the fact that they can catch the ball too. So we can go up and line up like we're going to run the ball, and any one of those guys can go out and catch the ball and make a man miss and, scamper off for 10, 15 yards, who knows, maybe even more. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you make a good point. CJ can catch.
Oliver can catch.
Cook tends to fall on his butt, but he still makes amazing catches.
Cook's here next year.
Yeah. So that's
Madison can catch. And Ty Chandler, who I'm high on, it was known for his catching ability at Carolina, even though he's a 4-3 guy, in the fourth, ran in the 4-3. So there's such, and then Kenny actually surprised me how well he could catch, because he did not do that at Ohio State, right? So the fact that I feel like we can play anybody in there, like everybody at any time. We're flexible. We're not going to be predictable. I think we've improved our offense, even though we lost Adam Thielen. I think we've improved our offense right now.
Yeah, I would totally agree.
I would agree. I mean, I think with Adam Thielen,
you're too a Jalen Naylor.
Yeah, we got Jalen Naylor, so he'll be that wide receiver 2, wide receiver 1B probably. But no, I think obviously, Thielen wasn't as good, or he kind of slowed down last year, but we also didn't use him as much. There's always a lot of JJ, and when Hawkinson came in, it was just a lot of them too. So I do think, if we're going to use them so much, especially if we kind of use our running backs a little bit more, I don't think losing Thielen is going to be that big of a deal for our offense. And that's why I think Oliver getting a guy that can block that well coming in here is actually a huge plus for us. I still do think we kind of need that wide receiver 2 potentially there, and it could be Naylor or it could be someone in this draft. We'll get more into that kind of stuff later. Let me dive right in through these comments real quick, and I'm gonna come back with you with Delvin Cook, because these comments are growing here. I'll say Skol for life. Just FYI, Jamie, this is AKA David. Oh, you said I would block you. No, dude, I'm never gonna block you. I'm not gonna block you. I'm biased. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be biased towards CJ no matter what. It's all good. It's all good. I made a comment about how the Vikings did a good thing by letting overpriced veterans was a good thing, or letting them go was a good thing, and was asked who let me out of the kitchen. Why does he assume I cook? Who said that, Sarah? That wasn't us.
Someone said that to you?
That wasn't
Who
us.
let you out of the
Sarah.
kitchen?
On,
That's nasty.
That's nasty. What the heck?
Someone said, did someone in the chat say that? Because otherwise,
Sarah said, I don't think so. Did someone say that?
So what did it say?
I don't think so. That must have been someone else's. That was in someone else's.
That was not. I didn't.
Okay.
I've never seen anybody say that to her. So
Vikings going to run the Maryland heavy I formation. What happens if Josh shines in our offense? Do you think TJ's gets a new contract? Yeah, I can't imagine Oliver's going to come in here and just do like
TJ Hawkinson's probably what, a top 5 tight end in the league?
Easily
like
top 5.
3.
Yeah, and I think how old is Hawkinson? 26?
He's 26, about to turn 27.
About 20,
something
about
like
to
that.
turn. He's so young. Dude,
prime.
he hasn't even seen. He played for the Lions for his
I mean,
entire
like,
career.
if you think like the offensive cornerstones of this team are going to be Jefferson, Hawkinson, and Christian Darrisaw, most likely. Like those are the 3 guys that you build around.
Yeah.
Sarah,
And
you're
CJ
allowed.
Ham.
You're allowed to have an opinion. You have some of the best one-liners of anybody I see in here. No offense to everybody else, but you do. How does it fit with Irv Smith now? I keep forgetting about Irv Smith.
He's
free
out.
His
contract is up.
Yeah, and there's no way we're gonna be re-signing him. So anyways, I'm gonna come back to Delvin Cook, which I wanted to anyways. We'll come back to these comments a little bit here. So Delvin Cook, what is your thoughts on Delvin Cook right now? Do you think there's almost, in my opinion, I don't know how we keep all those running backs and now with CJ's extension around at that price with 13 million over Cook's head. Do you still think we end up moving from him in this offseason?
I think they're trying to do something, and I don't know if it was intentional by Cook's camp, but like the shoulder surgery all of a sudden, like you're going to play with that for 3 years. And then when your future is sort of in doubt, you're going to say, yeah, I'm going to get that fixed.
Well, he had $2 million riding on it, right? He did it for the $2 million, I think.
Yeah. And so I think that's just kind of a weird coincidence, but yeah, I don't think they want Cook around. I mean, from everything we've heard in the media, it sounds like he's had trade value. I think it was reported a 7th round pick, which you're probably not going to take that, but
no.
I think they're kind of waiting. I think obviously Cook's got a passive physical. I see some comments even saying that. Yeah, and that's the first thing.
Right.
But you got to find a match too, right? I mean, there's a lot of good free agent running backs. We've seen some go, but there's also a really good draft class as well, and guys that you can probably get in the 2nd or the 3rd or 4th round, and they can step in and contribute and be cheaper than Cook. So I don't know. It's going to be tough, but I would bet he's probably on the roster. But I think they are trying to get rid of him if they can. It's just who can you fleece?
There's a little angle of this too, and I've heard other people think the same thing, and that is, during the draft and people don't get who they want, that could come about, and then after the draft, both situations could involve next year's picks, would be, if we don't get a quarterback this year, would be super valuable to us next year.
Yeah. That is definitely.
And then you go into the camp, someone gets hurt. You go in before the trade deadline, someone gets hurt. There'll be, you'll have some willing partners probably then. Who wouldn't want Dalvin Cook if your number 1 guy goes down early in the season? That's the kind of things we might be looking at.
Yeah. Speaking of trades, I saw this one pop up, and I'm just kind of curious what the thoughts are here. I don't know if you guys talked about it yet. Trade Cook and Hunter. I want to talk about Danielle Hunter because it's been so quiet on Danielle Hunter as of late.
Mm-hmm.
I know I saw some reports as of late. Again, I don't know on Twitter these days. I don't know what to believe and who's just making stuff up for clicks. But I saw someone saying that we've gotten offers for him and he's not going to play under his current contract, which I believe that 100% because I know they kind of said with the way his contract was structured that this year was basically going to be like we can't cut him because we had taken on a bunch of dead cap. and he wasn't going to play for what, $5 million or something because he's outperformed that. So I'm curious what you guys think is the plan with Danielle Hunter right now. I would love to keep him, but I mean, if someone comes in and offers you a first round pick for him, do you do it?
If I was gonna answer that one, I would. That's a hard one. It just depends. Hard. I think Hunter's more valuable than a first round pick. It depends what we were using that for. I double down on this. Like if we got rid of Hunter, we would have, and assuming Zadarius Smith, that's another one. Like who knows what's going on with that? Assuming he's gone, now we have Davenport. I know that. But he just had a sack last year, half a sack last year. Our pass rush would not be looking good at all. And I've said this before, is we've been extremely lucky in the pass rush area, other than 2020, which was terrible. So one of those years was terrible. So I just do not. I do not think it's a good idea to go on from here without a pass rusher, especially one that is as talented as Danielle Hunter. The chances of us finding someone else with that kind of talent is extremely slim, and it would be so hard to get rid of him because, if we use it and we use it to go get a quarterback or something like that, I get that a little bit. But our defense is just going to be hurting a lot worse than it already is, and it's an area that we obviously also need to make better compared to anywhere else on our team probably. What do you think on that, Matt?
Yeah, so the weird thing is Danielle Hunter kind of got old in front of our eyes real quick, and he's 29 years old already, and while that's not super old, I still kind of think of him in this light that he's 24 or 25, and I constantly have to tell myself that he's not. He's still a very good player, and I agree with you, Casey. I don't think he's going to play this year under his current cap hit, and so whether that's a trade or whether that's just a new contract for him to kind of ride his, next 2-3 years out. But one thing that kind of interests me with Danielle Hunter and even Dalvin Cook to a certain extent is I was talking with the person I do my show with, Miles Gorham, and he kind of proposed if the Vikings maybe would do a Buffalo Bills style trade in the NFL draft where they package some picks and a player to move up into the teens. And then from that point forward on draft night, they can leap into the top 10 and try and get one of these quarterbacks. So that is where I'm thinking it's going to go right now.
Yeah.
Because it's just been too the draft is a month away.
Right?
It's too quiet. Something is
right.
going to give here. And they haven't even done anything with Brian O'Neill's contract, which that's weird as well. That was the one switch that was supposed to be immediate.
Yeah,
we
the
need
big cap
relief.
saver.
Boom, let's do it.
Exactly. It's ended up being Kirk, surprisingly.
Yeah,
I know.
But
I know.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought just the silence with the whole we haven't heard his name thrown around once this offseason yet. So that's where I looked at. I'm just what is going on there? Because I know they say silence is good because things are working, but it just I don't know. It just seems too quiet on that front because there's been no word of an extension or talks even. So you almost wonder if the trade is kind of what's happening. Jamie, how would you feel about that if we were able to package picks with him, move up, and then eventually move up and get the quarterback of the future? How would you feel with that?
And keep in mind, the quarterback of the future that we're probably talking about here is probably Will Levis.
Yeah,
based
I would
on
say
everything we're hearing.
I'm just
I like Will Levis more than other people do. But
yeah.
Because Kevin, the fact that Kevin O'Connell likes him is what sells me. Just because, the coach, if the coach likes the quarterback, that's kind of what I've said. I'm fine with Kirk, but I've also Jamie, I've said I've said it for months. I said because drafting a quarterback in the first round, especially high, can really tank a GM's career with that team. But again, the Wilfs have shown to be pretty, lenient. But at the same time, if you love a guy and you see a guy and that's the guy I need, then go get him by all means.
Yeah, if I'm gonna just trust Kevin O'Connell, obviously they know way more than I do. I would back them. But moving up to the top 10 for Levis, I don't think I'm loving that. I'm not as on Levis, especially. I'm kind of one of these people that he's falling, and I'm I kind of see why he's falling a little bit, but I also don't know for sure. And I'm definitely more on the side of I'd rather trade back and get Hendon Hooker than trade up and get Levis or Anthony Richardson. Out of those two players, I'd rather move back and get Hendon Hooker and kind of take that safe play, especially if you get him in the second round and you don't have to commit to him in the very long term. If you don't have to, it's not as bad if we get Hendon Hooker and he doesn't work out. We can go even next year and pick a quarterback in the first round potentially. If we trade up for Levis, obviously, or especially Anthony Richardson, you're waiting a couple years before you can even think about moving on from them or whatever. There's a lot more commitment. I don't know if I believe those are the guys. So I guess for me, I want to go up and find our quarterback of the future more than anything. Am I confident that going up and getting a Levis or even an Anthony Richardson? I would probably say I wouldn't personally want to do it. Where are you guys at? Like, who do you like these quarterbacks a lot, Matt? And would you move up and you're good enough? Like, I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like CJ Stroud and Bryce Young, I think are the real deal. Maybe not so much Bryce Young. I have some hesitancy on him, but CJ Stroud,
5'9", right?
Is the safest pick in this draft. Yeah,
I thought CJ Stroud, little like me and Jamie's quarterback. I thought CJ Stroud just looked like super, just mechanically sound. Everything just looked smooth.
Yeah, he's very good at processing the field, and he's got it down. He's the safest bet, and then you're going to probably pair him with Frank Reich in Carolina. So I think that's going to be a great fit. But as far as Richardson and Levis go, obviously Richardson has the biggest ceiling of anybody in this class if he pans out. But that's the thing. It's if, and you're taking a chance, and I think everybody knows that. And so when we think about the Vikings situation in particular, it's a great landing spot for either Will Levis or Anthony Richardson because Kirk Cousins is the quarterback this year. There's no disputing it, especially with what they did with his contract. Mm-hmm. Like, he is going to be the guy week one, and barring injury or just a failure of a season, which I don't see happening, like, he'll probably start the whole way through. And so if you have guys like Levis or Richardson, you really can get them in the building, work with them, get them mechanically sound. And that's the big thing with Levis. Levis has some, like, I don't know if you guys subscribe to Luke Braun's Patreon account, but he walked through a lot of these quarterbacks, and Will Levis, a lot of it's just little tweaks that are very, very fixable. And, a year not playing, sitting behind Kirk Cousins with Kevin O'Connell, like, that sounds like a dream scenario in my opinion. And I'm willing to take that shot to find that quarterback of the future. And I know it can set you back, but what else do we have at this point?
Right.
Yeah, there's nobody behind Kirk.
Yeah. Right. How about a little bit of pick gymnastics, right? So we do the whole Lamar Jackson thing. We sign him to that offer sheet. Baltimore doesn't match it. Go into draft night, trade Daniil Hunter for a first round pick. Just eat the first round picks right now. Trade them both of the first rounders. Trade Kirk over to the Jets for a first round pick. Still a first round pick. Get Lamar Jackson in their first rounder. That's the way to go about it.
We're done.
Someone traded.
There we go. Super Bowl, like, dude, 4 of them.
Why are you not our GM?
And then we're good to go.
Dude, what's Kwesi doing?
To tack on to what Matt was saying is this could be talked about before the draft. Like, we could be saying, hey, we could be getting calls about, hey, we want to look at Daniil Hunter. What would you take for him? I'm like, hey, still interested, but we might be, we might want to trade up to get a particular player. Everybody will know it's a quarterback, but before the draft. And if that happens, there's going to be phones ringing, and they'll be saying, hey, you want to go ahead and do this? Yeah, I could see that happen. I would lean towards that. We're not going to do it. They're not going to fall far enough for us. And I feel like we're in a situation where we do have 2 years where we go get our guy and not overspend for him. And I think, I think that next year quarterback draft has a lot of guys that have already produced that, that they're not coming out of nowhere or they've had a good track record, and it's going to be pretty deep. That's what I'm hearing. I've seen a few. I'm not deep into it yet, but it's looking pretty good. And I think Daniil is in their plans. I honestly think that, hey, he's in our plans. We can't get rid of both Za'Darius and Daniil.
Za'Darius is still here.
Yeah. See, that's what is going? Like, I'm so confused.
We could get rid of both of them or keep both of them, just like Dalvin Cook. It is really eerie to not hear a damn thing about Daniil Hunter, though. But that's the way it's been, right? Like, he doesn't talk. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't burn a bridge. And he's been taken advantage of almost these past few years. And I'm surprised he doesn't want to leave. Yeah, honestly. But hey, he got hurt for a year and a half, and I think he sees the. I heard Rick Spielman over this weekend. He was on NFL radio, and he was talking about how he liked to sign people a year ahead of their last year of the contract because, hey, we're taking a risk on you long term. Here's money that you can count on that you may not have next year if you get hurt.
Yeah.
Right. So, hey, let's do it now while you're still healthy. And I think that's what he's done the past few years. And we're seeing, and that's why we had these aging players. But
right. Well, that was Daniil's first contract, honestly,
right.
a very under the market deal where he outperformed it after 2 years, which kind of led us to the situation we are in now with his injuries. It really all added up there. But yeah, Dave, that's pretty much exactly how that first contract went down. And Spielman was a master at that.
One thing I'll say quick about, because you mentioned the quarterback class next year, and it is good. I mean, there's Caleb Williams, there's Drake May, mixed feelings on Bo Nix, but that's another guy that's out there. But I will say it'll likely be harder, I think, to get those quarterbacks next year because they have produced and they're very clearly good. So the asking price might be a little bit more expensive, but we might not be picking at 23. We might be picking at 17, 18. Who knows? Like
or have more
everything's
picks,
different.
or
32.
have more picks.
Probably 32, right?
32.
Or let me throw something
We're
at you
picking
guys.
32, Matt.
Yeah, easy,
we all know
32.
that.
Come on. So next year, 32. Put it in the books right now.
What if the Vikings I'm just feeling it out. What if they trade back from 23 and all they get is like a third and a future first? Are you guys in for that?
Yeah,
because
future, like next year first?
Yep.
Sold.
Oh, yeah.
So then you got
Sold.
2 first.
I would say so.
Yeah, I would.
But that I mean you're playing you're showing your cards a little bit.
Right,
like
right,
if you do that move, everybody in the NFL knows what your plan is next year.
And
I would feel
you're
much better with a second and a future first. That'd be ideal,
sure.
But no, then you're banking that the Bryce Young led Houston team. Bryce Young plays solid. He does pretty solid enough to be like, all right, this is our guy in the future. They still come in last place. We trade both our first round picks and whatever else we have to go get Caleb Williams, and then boom, we're good. We're set. That's the game plan.
But that'd be the thing. You would need a team like Houston to get that first overall pick.
That's pretty much like the one
so
team
that there's a
chance
to get up there to go get him.
And next year we're in a situation where we have cap room in 2024. We have cap room in 2025, and those first round picks we'd be giving up to go up and get our guy it won't be as scary because we can put a good team on the field with the amount of cap room we have.
But we won't have Kirk though either at that point. Most likely we won't have Kirk. So whoever we pick up, he would be playing behind someone that's probably worse than Kirk.
Yeah.
Which is hard to do.
What teams next year?
All you guys feel like extension's not going to happen. Like 1 year will not happen.
I don't think
I feel like this would be the year to do it. I think it would have been this year. Is when you would give the extension, especially because if we don't. Yeah,
but it's still this year, and it still can happen. It just they did what they were going to do, just didn't give him an extension. If they gave him extension, they would have did this, right? They would have put those void years on. They could still add that, and that's all I'm saying. It could still happen.
Matt, were you about to ask which teams realistically might need a quarterback next year?
Yeah, because I don't think there's many.
I look at, for me, and I hate to do this because I'd hate to see it happen to the Bears, but I could, like the Bears this year, they're looking right now. They're like, Justin Fields, we're getting you everything you might need. If somehow we end up with 2 wins again next year in the first overall pick, you're out and we're just going to draft the next guy. I can see that happening, and
because they got Carolina's pick too.
The Raiders,
exactly. The Raiders,
who could figure something out this year.
Right.
The Colts too.
I mean,
assuming they figure something out this year.
San Francisco.
Yeah, they always need a quarterback, I guess.
Seattle, maybe, if they don't go one this year, surprisingly.
Could you see Seattle being a sneaky team to take one this year at
Atlanta,
6 if someone drops?
Ritter doesn't work
I
out.
think they're waiting to see what happens with Jalen Carter, though.
Yeah. That's true. Jalen Carter whatever team gets him is going to be a steal. Honestly.
Titans, yeah.
Titans don't have a.
Yeah, that's a good point. The Titans, they need one. Malik Willis somehow didn't pan out, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, he was a project, so maybe they're banking on that. But that's what I'm saying. Like a third round pick for Willis, like you can move on from him this year. Same with Ritter, and that's kind of where my point is with Hendon Hooker is if you were to move back and get Hendon Hooker even in the second round. Yeah. Or I don't think he's lasting to the third round. You don't have to commit to that. That's like a player that we could take a chance on. And if we feel like he's not we feel comfortable moving on from him or whatever. So that's what I kind of like about that specifically compared to Levis, in my opinion. But I also don't really know for sure. Like that's another thing I actually wanted to ask you about Levis. What is, since it seems like you know quite a bit more on him than I do, is what's with his running game? Like how come he was running super well like 2 years or the last year, the year before, and then this past year he just had nothing in the run game?
I wish I could answer that for you.
That's what scares me, I think, the most about
they changed offensive coordinators. I thought I had heard from between the
still. I mean, he was Josh Allen the year before, and then was
he was 3.5 yards. He was 3.5 yards a carry his junior year.
Yeah, so that's like one crazy thing rushing. Is like I want someone who can run the ball. That's what I want more than anything. I want to move away from the regular
someone who can improvise.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I like about Bryce Young, for instance, is he's fantastic at avoiding pressure and extending.
That's what I like about Hendon Hooker.
Yeah,
I think
he's Hendon Hooker too. Like the thing that me and Jamie had talked about when it comes to CJ Stroud, like he's super like mechanically polished and everything, and he looks just smooth, and he understands the offenses. But also, like, he's played behind probably one of the top offensive lines in the country his whole career. And has he played with a receiver who's not eventually going to be a first-round pick?
Yeah, exactly. He's been loaded with talent.
Right. And Ohio State, that's just going to happen. But then again, so is Bryce Young. And, like a lot
like that's some of the most wide receiver talent I've ever seen come out of one place. So he's played with
Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Dude, what? That is crazy. That's one thing that worries. Obviously, you shouldn't be too worried about that.
And now he gets Adam Thielen.
Yeah. He's upgrade, man.
They usually have a pretty good offensive line, too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I did see Skol TYA up here, his comment. I know I brought this up before that when I watched Stroud, I did have to scout the player, not the helmet, because Ohio State quarterbacks just never seem to turn up in the NFL, So it's like, but I don't know. He does
stuff like that is real, dude.
But he is, I feel like he is a pass first player, which you don't see a lot of that coming out of Ohio State. So that's where I really feel a lot better about his prospects coming out than I do about the other ones. And his arm talent is undeniable. I mean, he saw it in the combine, like
pro day today, I think, right?
Yeah,
he can make any throw that you want.
And we know we're not getting either of them two, right? Sure, but
like I felt with Bryce Young. If I'm just going on the deep ball, I felt like CJ Stroud had better touch on the deep ball than Bryce Young does, and it might just be a height deal. Who knows? But like I just saw a lot of like, you can just see like when like Bryce Young throws it deep, the ball just kind of like sails up. It doesn't really have that nice little.
So Bryce Young had the highest direct completion grade.
Right.
But I mean, who knows all that stuff. Let me jump in these comments real quick again. Let me see here. There's one I wanted to hit on real quick. Well, I'll just say this right away. Skol. I know Michael O is in here somewhere. Appreciating. I can't find his comment in here. Oh, there it is. Thanks for the card, guys. Much appreciated. I just want to bring this up again real quick. Is we are going to give away 2 CJ Ham rookie cards this time. It's CJ Ham night. That's why I'm wearing the jersey. 2-year extension.
All
2
skate.
Cards.
All skate.
Hashtag Skol in the comments. That's all you got to do. Like the video and subscribe to the channels. All of our channels. GG Sports Podcast, Minnesota Sports Talk, and of course Matt's and you got your actual channel is Climbing the Pocket. And
correct. Yeah.
So the Vikings Happy Hour. That's like a show off of
a flagship show of Climbing the Pocket.
And I'm assuming all of you guys are already following them anyways. So if you're not, make sure to go over there and subscribe to their channel. They're on their way to 3,000. We're on our way. We just passed 700 today.
I was going to ask you. Mentioned that.
We just passed 700 today. So we're getting there. Guys. We're getting there.
Nice work.
Don't forget to do all that. So hashtag Skol in the comment, everybody again. Yes, that's Hans rookie is sexy. That's right. These are my guys here.
Is this true? By John here. that sacks, because Jamie, me and you had talked about that. If they counted sacks in there, we could understand why.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense why he had like negative however many rushing yards.
Well, that's the one thing I see about
sacks go against passing yards team wise.
Right, in the pros, though. What about college?
In the college,
I don't know about college.
Yeah, because Levis had like negative 300 yards this year, and then the year before he had like 400 positive yards. That's another thing about Levis that I noticed watching him was he just takes sacks. Like I don't really see him do the improvising thing, even though I know he can use his legs. I didn't really see him use it to avoid pressure and get out of the pocket. It seems like he'll just either stand up tall in the pocket and try to deliver one, kind of like Kirk Cousins, I guess. Or he just gets sacked. I know Levis has more of a athletic ability than Kirk Cousins, so I know the chance is there. But that's something that showed up to me a lot when I watched him. Was just that he would take.
He have more athletic ability.
Nobody has more than Kirk. I'm talking about Kirk Cousins. Kirk O'Chain.
Not Kirk O'Chain.
Kirk O'Chain is a whole
different people,
story,
different
players,
dude.
I wouldn't. Kirk O'Chain is just on a whole nother level. But yeah, that's one concern with Levis with me is I just didn't see him play very well. I know he has good accuracy against pressure, but I didn't see him try to avoid pressure or anything like that. He kind of just takes the sack.
Yeah, I wish I could give you a better scouting report on
Levis. We may have beaten Will Levis to death. We may have beaten Will Levis.
I've refused to watch the quarterbacks because I don't want to get excited about the possibility that it happens. I'd much rather go back and be like, oh shit, we actually got him. Yeah.
And then you dive into their highlights and stuff, and you're like,
when me and Jamie did our quarterback video, when me and Jamie did our quarterback video, and like when they kind of talked about Kevin O'Connell liking Will Levis, that's what I'm just like, oh, okay,
Will Levis is him.
Okay,
just automatically just says.
Watching a highlight video of Anthony Richardson is ridiculous. Even though he's got a lot of flaws and stuff, but his highlight videos obviously are like
and that's the thing, and
crazy to watch. It's amazing.
It is.
I think I said this during me and Jamie's quarterback video is how like when you look at Levis and look at Richardson, like I think what it is Richardson's ceiling is so much higher than Levis's is.
Yeah,
but his floor is so much lower. Like Levis is like that safe quarterback who it's like he might just end up being like a prototypical franchise quarterback you keep around. He's nothing super explosive, but he can win you games. And he might be better. You never know. With Richardson, it's like, God, you bring him in, it's either he's going to figure it out or he is just going to completely tank and we're done for. Like you feel like there is no middle ground or unless you end up just being like, okay, this guy ain't going to develop. Let's just make a Lamar Jackson type offense and see what we can get out of him. Like, it's really like the floor, like the ceilings and the floors that separate the two, and it kind of depends on how big of a risk you want to take.
I also wonder if the Vikings are pulling, I don't know if I tweeted this or put it in a DM with just somebody I was chatting with, but back when they showed all that interest in Joe Mixon, as almost as a distraction to, put people off their trail and then go draft Dalvin Cook. I wonder if they're doing the same thing in a sense with Will Levis. To be like, yeah, we like Will Levis. We've met with Will Levis. I'm just waiting for the picture of Kevin O'Connell talking with Will Levis, but then they go and take Richardson, or I mean, maybe it's Hooker, maybe it's the Stanford kid. Who knows?
Jamie doesn't like
can't move at all. I can't go. If we decide to pick a quarterback that can't move, and we're like we're stuck with them for the next couple of years, like we're invested in someone that can't move, that's going to piss me off more than anything. Obviously, if he comes in and there's a good chance that guy's really good or whatever, but I'm just ready to switch it up and kind of like what I said this on our last live video. It's just like moving away from Mike Zimmer's type of leadership to KOC. I'm feeling the same way with quarterback.
I think Rapp said it on one of his streams that basically you look at McKee and you kind of see Brock Osweiler 2.0 there, just the tall, lanky kid, good arm.
And he just can't really move. That's what worries me about him. But no, just the quarterback thing in general, though, I'm 100% down with you. I'm not convinced on Levis, but I also don't know what the hell I'm
spatial awareness though compared to Osweiler? Isn't he the guy that ran out the back of the end zone?
No, that was
Orlovsky.
Yeah, okay. Osweiler was the one that played like half a season and got paid.
Yeah.
I guess
he was the one that filled in for Peyton Manning when his arm went away.
And then got paid by Houston, of course.
They won the Super Bowl
I freaking drafted him in my fantasy league, and in the same day they announced he was done for the season. I was like, shit.
But no, overall though, I'm like 100% down. I'm ready to go. I don't care if we trade it. I don't care if we trade up for like the second pick, whatever. If we have a guy that we like, I'm ready to throw it all out there and get our quarterback for the future. 100%. I'm ready.
That is the biggest thing. That is the biggest thing. Is like if they actually do love a guy, like go get it.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel.
And no matter what, like, and I'm happy I'm not a GM because I'd be so worried about like, and I check Twitter, see what people say. I think Kwesi is smart enough to know that not like there's going to be half the fan base that loves the move, half the fan base that hates the move, and that's just the way it goes. And on Twitter, of course, we are the most negative fan base on Twitter since since the offseason started. But it's just gonna be one of those things where you can't please everybody. So it really all comes down to what do your scouts say? What do you say? Go do it.
I actually saw a heading title of an article that said we were the most negative fan base.
Yep.
Well, yeah,
but today we also found out we moved up the charts. We were third all time in the Super Bowl era for having the third best winning percentage. There's like 14 teams listed there. Yep. All of them had Super Bowls except for us.
Yep. That's fucking brutal.
Yeah, that's brutal. That's the reason why, though. I mean, it's hard not to be negative. I try to stay positive, though. We got to stay positive.
Hey, third best team, third winningest franchise since the Super Bowl era. It's just crazy to think that we haven't won the Super Bowl yet.
So, Jamie, what do you think? What do you think about this idea? Right. So we trade up to 2, right? CJ Stroud to CJ Ham, game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl. You like that, Ian?
That's pretty good. I do like that. Because speaking of that, CJ scored in both the Bills and the Colts game. So we do have to remember that.
Basically won the game for us.
And basically won the game. Delvin Cook's runs were cool, but it wasn't until CJ's 1-yard touchdowns that really turned the corners there. And plus he won both overtime coin tosses. No big deal.
The look on him at the Colts game. Going into overtime when they won the flip. He's like, yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's why you got to pay this guy. That's why you pay him. That's why you extend this guy.
I've taken his saying every time I do a coin flip. Tails never fails.
Yep. And then the other guy
it's like a well, you remember Randy Moss saying at Culpepper, what do we always call on Madden? It's Tails.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You guys are too young.
Yeah, it's on the NFL Films thing. You can go check it out.
No, overall though, if we traded up for Stroud, and I know obviously it would cost insane amount. We just saw what Carolina had to do to move 7 spots, something like that. It would be insane, but I would be excited. I'd be excited unless he's obviously until we found out he sucked or whatever. But assuming
I'd do it for
with Stroud.
Right. Well, you got to think
Stroud
about
in this class.
Like,
I would do it for Caleb Williams. Everything I see with Caleb Williams looks fantastic. He does everything. He seems to do everything. Yeah. I don't know. We've dug into him and stuff like that. So I'm already convinced, like next year you throw whatever you got to do to get him. Your chances of just anybody else beating you for that is super slim. But in this draft, I would say Stroud. I put Bryce Young over Stroud in this draft. I just like his play style more, though his size is concerning. So that's kind of where that would, between him and Stroud, it would kind of cross there for me. But
like, I'm really interested. I'm interested to see where the top part of this draft goes with like quarterbacks and whatnot. Because like I know Matt, you mentioned earlier smoke screens, like with like the Levis conversation for the Vikings. Is it the same thing for the Colts? Oh, we're in on Lamar Jackson because we don't know if we believe in any of the quarterbacks this year. Is that something? Like, are they trying to like get one of them to fall to 4? If they do make a move for Jackson, and Baltimore is sitting there at pick 4, even if the Colts stay at pick 4, does pick 3 with Arizona become like a huge trade opportunity for Arizona to move down?
Yep.
Like, you're looking for them. They could get the best defensive player in the draft, or you could trade down from there, gouge somebody's eyes out, get 2 first-rounders. If someone feels like they want to get up to 3, take a quarterback over the Colts. I'm going to be interested to see how draft night plays out. So, like, it's going to be kind of entertaining. I just don't want the Vikings to like trade up to pick 7 before the draft even starts. Kind of like the Wolves did that one year where they're like move up to pick whatever. And we're like, we want, and it was out there. They wanted Darius Garland. And he went to the Cavs like 3 picks before. And we got stuck with Jarrett Culver and the rest is history. But like, I don't like those whole like early trades when you're out, when you're not in the top 4. So you're not guaranteed one of the top 4 guys.
Well, we're the ones that always get screwed on it though. It's always a guy right before us. Like, man, if we were just 1 pick higher, we were set.
Hey, we had our chance at Justin Fields and we didn't take it.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know about you, but I think all 3 of us, I don't know about what you think, Matt. Would you rather have Justin Fields or would you rather have Christian Darrisaw right now? We all think Christian Darrisaw.
Yeah.
I like my quarterback to be able to pass. Yeah. You know, I like, don't get me wrong, like I want someone who can run the ball, but I still would prefer a pass first quarterback. That's something I do really like about.
But yet you want Lamar Jackson.
Well, I didn't say I want
Lamar
Jackson.
I know.
I never said I want Lamar Jackson. I said I would take him over Kirk Cousins, and I do think him coming here would make us a better team.
Yes.
But I think with the type of offense that we have, I don't think a running first quarterback would utilize our offense as good as someone who could who's more of a passer, I guess, especially when you have the best wide receiver in the league. You kind of want someone who can get the ball.
And an $80 million cap hit on the quarterback position next year.
Yeah, well, that's what it would be.
Yeah,
for sure. At least, especially next year.
Next year. But
yeah, dude, I'd be cool with if we got Lamar Jackson and we ended up rolling with it. I would still probably be excited. It looked way different. There's no question in my mind that Lamar Jackson would have the best offense he's had in his entire career by far. Mm-hmm. So it would be interesting to see what he could do with it. But still, 26, and we already know he gets injured quite a bit, so that stuff would scare me.
Yeah. See, I don't want, like, I would rather not go after it because it's just kind of everybody thinks everything everybody says about Kirk's paid too much money, but Lamar Jackson's younger, yada yada. Like, I don't love the idea of like the run first quarterback. Like you said, they get hurt too often. He gets hurt all the time. But if we somehow pulled it off and we brought him in, and yes, he's only 26, which is funny to think about, 1 year older than Hendon Hooker, the rookie, also coming off of an injury with the torn ACL. Like, I don't love the idea of it just because of the injuries. But if we got him, I'm a Vikings fan first. I'll support him, and I would be excited because it'd be like, can Kevin O'Connell take this guy in?
Well,
can they figure something out with him? Can he fix the throwing mechanics, especially with a guy like Justin Jefferson? So, like,
and we've never seen that type of talent at quarterback.
Oh God, no. Like, I don't want it to happen
in my life. I don't think. Right?
I just pull out the calculator and I'm like, and it blows up and explodes. and I say this too. I'd rather have 17 games of Kirk Cousins than 12 of Lamar Jackson.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
because
I would
want
12
because those other 5 games are going to be Nick Mullins.
There's going to be a day where we look back and, you know, regret that we didn't appreciate Kirk Cousins' stability a little bit more.
This chat's about to explode, man.
It is.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Do they not like Kirk Cousins in this chat?
Like the 75% are completely out.
Completely out.
Yeah,
that's the vocal minority.
Yeah, probably. We got a minority. I'm kind of not on Kirk. I'm definitely like,
it's a little slow tonight. I guess
I'm ready to go away from Kirk Cousins. I don't think he's that guy to win a Super Bowl.
Rat must not be here.
But there's no question the stability of Kirk Cousins is fantastic, and I think Kirk Cousins is a really good quarterback. Do I think he can win a Super Bowl? I'm definitely not convinced. He hasn't been able to prove that in any way.
Well, it's one of 32 teams. If you say you can't win a quarterback, win a Super Bowl, then most likely the odds are against him winning the Super Bowl. So it's pretty safe.
Well, I mean,
one
playoff win in a 12-year career just throws.
And Lamar,
Lamar has like a 4-year career. Anyways,
who's this Dylan guy in the comments?
What do you say, Matt? You have a great radio voice, but you gotta go. Dylan, what the heck?
Doesn't like the Kirk Cousins talk.
I'm guessing that's got to be it.
Yeah.
Wow. See, I tell you.
So that's what I'm saying. It's the Kirk
don't even bring it up, Matt, in here. No.
But there's a real good chance that we draft a quarterback and they suck, and now we're going through like five years with no stability at quarterback, and we do look back. That was kind of nice having Kirk Cousins. But in my head, I'm like, I don't even care. I just want to win a Super Bowl, and I don't think Kirk can do it. So if we take that chance, I think I'll be able to swallow that pill of
And if I remember right, Matt, you're not a big Kirk. You're not like, hey, I want to keep Kirk Cousins even one more year. You're like, you're just
he's ready for a new quarterback.
Yeah,
just the fact that you said something nice about Kirk Cousins, that one day we'll realize we didn't appreciate him enough. And
by the way,
like, you gotta go, Matt.
Notice how I just said appreciate his stability.
Yeah, stability, not even his talent.
Performance.
Stability. Yeah. The fact that he doesn't get hurt, you gotta go. That voice, although it lulls me to sleep and tranquility, and the radio and Wolfman Jack going on, you're out of here. Yeah. Gone.
Hey, we can all admit Kirk has. I mean, that dude doesn't get hurt. This guy's an Iron Man up there.
And I think definitely puts himself.
I think this right here just like perfectly like just kind of should explain the Kirk Cousins career here. It's like, definitely don't hate him. Plays his heart out for us for sure. Just ready for change. Like if you watch the guy play, like I remember watching.
This is a softer stance by Skol Mafia.
Yeah, I know Skol Mafia.
That was softer stance by Skol Mafia.
But like I just look back. I just look back to last year. Was at the Giants game where Kirk threw a dime and just got rocked right in the gut.
Yeah,
and just gets right back up and keeps going. The guy literally doesn't get hurt. Just like John said, he might have adamantium bones. Who really knows?
Yeah,
it is crazy how many hits he takes.
We're probably not going to deal with that at quarterback in the future when we do take this chance at someone new. But let's we're going to start wrapping this up. Again, everybody,
moment we've all been waiting for.
2 CJ Ham rookie cards, 2-year extension. Hashtag Skol in the comment, like the video, subscribe to our channels. Everybody's channels in the description, so you can easily look down there to go do that. We'll give you, I don't know, like a minute. Hashtag Skol in the comments.
Yep. So while we're waiting for people to type hashtag Skol in the comments, one more time, Matt, why don't you tell us and the watchers where you can find your stuff?
Yes, you can find me on Climb in the Pocket. My show is Vikings Happy Hour. It's kind of the flagship of the network right now, so you can head on over there. Otherwise, you can find my writing work on Vikings Wire for USA Today, or you can just find me on Twitter at @MattAnderson_8.
Perfect. Awesome. And then I have
because of Kirk Cousins.
And I also have a lot of that.
Don't say
right
that,
in the description.
That's not
Jackson. Lamar Jackson.
Sorry, Jamie.
You're good. All right.
Jamie, how many people we got in? Okay, here comes Rap. Rap at the very end.
Ooh, Rap. There he is. Rap's bringing the gang in here. Don't worry, Rap. We didn't. We just talked about Kirk Cousins' stability. Nobody said Kirk Cousins is the future or anything like that. It's all good up in here.
Someone said something not terrible about him, and he got jumped down his throat. It was awesome.
Jamie, how many people we got in?
Hashtag Skol to win pure gold.
Pure gold. CJ Ham. And actually,
the
interesting thing about CJ Ham cards is they're actually pretty valuable because this year Select was the only year that made rookie CJ Ham cards. So there's not a lot out there. So he actually holds pretty good value, just to let everybody know that.
Way to sell it.
All right, I think we're good.
Here we go, CJ Ham. Let's go.
How many likes we got real quick? One more thing.
Well, on our side, we got 13. Dave, how many you got?
That's good.
Probably more than me today.
We're good. Let's run this thing. We got everybody in here. So we're going to run both these cards. Let's go.
16 is pretty good. Never seen that many in there before. That's good.
If anyone isn't in yet, you still have a little bit of time to get into the second one.
So first CJ Ham card going to
JD. Let's go, JD. Another card for JD. Let's go. And let's run this again. Boom. JD and CJ Ham, 2-year extension. Let's go.
JD and Matt
Collins.
All right.
Matt Collins, you in here?
That new winner?
I believe it is.
Let's go.
Good to see.
And
good to see.
Matt Anderson 8 for appearing on our show. You get a Jimmy John sandwich sent to your house,
specially delivered by Casey.
Specially delivered. Oh, there's Matt.
Okay, hey, cool. There you are. Hey, Matt, go look in the description and go follow us on Twitter. I don't know have we seen Matt in here before? Do you know Matt? Matt, well, first off, we appreciate you being in here. Go follow us on Twitter or Instagram and DM us so we can get the information to your mailing address so I can get this card out sent to you right away. And we also give away rookie cards every single live show. So
Sarah, you've won two. You've won 2 in a row now. Come on now. Share the wealth. Share the wealth.
Get back in the kitchen, Sarah.
I'm
just kidding. I'm just kidding. You said it's playing off her joke from earlier.
I know,
yeah.
I'm just kidding, Sarah. I love you. You've been great on our show every day.
Oh, okay, hold on.
I'm your biggest fan.
Matt, you can find us on Instagram as well. Link down below in the description. Okay, this is the most asinine, atrocious comment I've ever read in my life. Jimmy John's is the top sandwich restaurant. No,
me and Dave actually talked about this right before coming on. We're not big Jimmy John's guys.
Can I disagree there too?
Yes.
Casey, you like Jimmy John's? Casey, what the hell?
I think Herbert's and Gerbert's is pretty good.
I love Herbert's and Gerbert's. Flash,
never heard of it,
you get the guts.
Flash with bacon, Herbert's and Gerbert's.
Yeah.
You can only get the bread guts that you get to dip in the soup.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. You can't get that out here.
I'm in
Colorado. Dave's in Florida. We don't get Herbert's and Gerbert's out here. But all right, guys, we're gonna wrap this show up. We appreciate everybody in here. We definitely appreciate you hopping on, Matt. We'll definitely have to have you on here again, of course. And
and Sarah, I was kidding. I was honestly kidding. It was off your joke from before.
She knows.
Forgive me.
Anyway, thanks
Sarah,
everybody for watching.
I'd rather cook than Jimmy John's.
Okay, we got to end this now. I'm getting disappointed in all you people. Anyway, thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. Jersey Mike's is also very good. That's a good
Jersey Mike's steaks. Their cheese steaks are super good.
Anyway, Minnesota goodbyes here. Thanks everybody for watching. See you guys next week on the Skol Experience.
Skol Vikes.
Skol World and GG Sports Podcast. Thanks for watching.